up, my energies? Welcome back to my channel. And as always, salute to you, your inner god or goddess, and your gangster. So before I jump into it, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Why aren't you subscribed to my channel? I know you be watching my videos. So today I want to talk about femininity. What is femininity? What is divine femininity? What is divine masculinity? Don't mind the children outside. It's like literally the middle of the day, so, and they're not at school. Why, I don't know, but whatever, that's none of my business, okay? So I want to get into that topic because I feel like right now femininity or divine femininity seems to be such a buzzword, right? You guys know that we live in a society now that has become like so fixated or obsessed with like buzzwords, whether it be manifest or I don't know, astrology or femininity or masculinity or toxic, or we're so obsessed with buzzwords now. It's crazy to me. I watched a really great video, and I'm gonna reference it a few times in this video. I watched a really great video on explaining divine masculinity and divine femininity. On that channel specifically, he talks about a lot of Kemetic principles and ideologies and all those kinds of things. So in ancient Egypt, the Ankh, which I always have on my finger, if you haven't noticed, represented the joining of masculine and feminine because you need both. We know how sex works, right? So in looking at it from an anatomical perspective, the creation, right? The growth, the maturation of that baby happens in the womb, happens in darkness. That's where the creativity comes from, right? And so in terms of divine feminine, it's out of that darkness comes the creativity, comes the nurturing, comes the intuitiveness, comes the emotion. And so what I think is missing from the conversation oftentimes when we get into, oh, that's toxic femininity, or that's toxic masculinity, or that's feminine and that's masculine, is the fact that we as human beings both have those energies in us, right? A man walking around isn't just masculine, right? He has feminine energies within him. Women have masculine energy as well. You're not just all one type of energy. We have all these people getting on these different platforms and telling you how to be a better man and telling you how to be a better woman, instead of telling you how to balance the energies that are in you, how to balance your masculine energy with your feminine energy, how to be less aggressive and you know, I need to lead, I need to be in charge, I need to and learn how to balance yourself out and be open to receiving, be open to being more creative, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to like, everything has to be my way or the highway type of energy. You know what I'm saying? That's masculine. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a time and place for every type of energy. So we have to find a way to be able to pull back a little bit in some instances, or maybe step forward in some instances. I love astrology. I'm a Leo, if you guys didn't know. And Leo is a masculine sign, right? The sun is masculine, right? The moon is feminine. A lot of people really aren't even into astrology, or that maybe they're coming into it now because it's all over, like I said, it's all over social media, it's all over YouTube, whatever. So maybe you're kind of getting interested in it. But if you are a Cancer, you're ruled by the moon, which is a feminine energy, right? And so right there, the moon comes out at night, right? Creation happens in the darkness. That baby is nurtured and nourished for 9 months in the darkness. And I remember when I was training the second time to become a doula here in Louisiana, I remember my instructor saying, we're not supposed to see what's happening with that baby for that 9 months. Because if you were supposed to see, your belly would be clear. Like something along those lines. It's not verbatim, but like, she's like, I mean, I don't really recommend ultrasounds because I feel like we're not supposed to know the magic of what it looks like for a baby to be created, to form. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother conversation. I pulled up the video here with me. I'm just gonna kind of briefly summarize some of the points made in it. So this is just an analogy. This is not saying that if you have a penis, you're only gonna be masculine. You're only carrying masculine energy, versus if you have a vagina, you're only carrying feminine energy. You're only feminine. That's not what this is saying. It's just a metaphor. So in terms of the analogy with the womb, the divine feminine energy is receptive, right? It's receiving, right? It's desire, it's inner directed, because you can't see a woman's womb, right? And it's the receiver of the seed. The divine masculine is active, it's driven, it's outwardly directed, right? It's visible like a penis, right? The vagina is inward, everything is inside. The penis is outward, everything is external, right? That's the big difference between the divine masculine and divine feminine. It doesn't have to do with how much money you're making or how well you can cook, or like, we've attributed or associated all those things with masculine and feminine, right? We've kind of dumbed it down, right? In essence, we've dumbed it down to like this, it has to be this materialistic thing. Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you make babies, right? Can you make money? Can you take care of a home? Can you provide? Can you take out the trash, right? Those things or stereotypes that we've associated with divine masculine and divine feminine are not at all what those concepts mean, right? They're so much deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? We often liken aggression to being masculine, and that has nothing to do with it. Yes, it's a small aspect of it, but you have to look at it more so in terms of growth and expansion and change, right? And doing, right? Being active, that's masculine energy. Being receptive and being open and being emotional. We always attribute being emotional with being feminine, and that's just a small part of it. It's not the entire thing. These concepts or these ideologies span so much further and so much deeper than we really know or allow them to. I know I was kind of all over the place. I hope the definition and the terminology and the analogy to our anatomical selves makes sense in terms of what divine masculine energy is and what divine feminine energy is. I hope you guys understand that. If you don't, definitely drop a comment below so I can kind of make it a little bit more clear for you. I don't know. And if you don't want to drop a comment below, just do some more research. You know what I mean? And I think do it from a perspective of ancient philosophies, or that specific video was in terms of African spirituality, right? I think us as Black people need to look into African spirituality a little bit more, delve into it a little bit deeper. And a lot of African traditional spiritualities or religions, there is no heaven and hell. A lot of this stuff that we learned, you know, over the last, 400, 500 years from the white man, don't apply to us, baby. It really does not apply to us. And I think we aren't doing our due diligence to really understand where we come from, right? The countries in West Africa that we come from, and our spiritual walk, our path, what it is that really applies and aligns with our existence on this planet. Because I think that what we're using and what we've been using for these 400, 500 years is not working for us. And that's all I'm gonna say with that. That's a whole nother video. It's always a whole nother video, but that's really a whole nother video. Because I've noticed that femininity has become this like massive topic over the past few months, and how women need to be more feminine and how women need to step into their femininity and heal your feminine inner child, or heal your inner child and then you'll heal your masculine energy, you know, all of this stuff, which I'm not saying is not, you know, on par with what you should be doing anyway. In terms of women stepping into their femininity, and I'm speaking about Black women because I'm a Black woman, I can't speak about nobody else, right? In terms of us stepping into that, what does it look like? Because if you leave it up to these people on YouTube and these people all over these platforms that are talking about femininity looks like this and it looks like that, and I don't think that's really tapping into it. If you're telling me that femininity means that a woman needs to listen to her man, and she needs to be home cooking, and she needs to not, you know, be proud of the fact that she has degrees, or that she went to college, or that she's able to support herself, I don't think that's really, I don't think that aligns with femininity. Yes, you're gonna be receiving. Yes, you're gonna be soft, maybe. That's another thing. It's like, you have to be softer. Just be softer. Men want soft women. And yeah, they probably do. Yeah, they do. Especially if they're only operating out of their masculine energy, they're super tough and strong and they want to lead. And yeah, they want something soft. That makes perfect sense, because you're not even tapping into your divine feminine energy. You don't even know how to be soft yourself. So of course, you're going to crave something that's softer and quieter and a little bit more reserved than what you're presenting yourself as, because you don't understand that aspect of yourself. The same thing goes for women that are operating mostly out of their masculine energy. You're going to be drawn to maybe men that are a little bit more soft, a little bit more quiet, and, you know, they're not really out here trying to show off and trying to take charge every 2 seconds. You might be attracted to that energy because you're operating on the opposite spectrum of that, right? So you're looking for something that's going to soften you a little bit, someone that's going to be gentle with you a little bit. You know what I mean? So my question really has become, how do Black women step into femininity outside of cooking and cleaning and maybe not working? Because I feel like a lot of the men that are on these platforms that are talking to women about how to get a man, number one, you're not a woman. You've never been a woman. If you have, okay. But if you've never been a woman, you're sitting here on these platforms, on this podcast, on this YouTube, and you're just on this live stream, and you're just going in on Black women. I'm talking about Black women because I can't talk about other ones, right? Going in on us about how we need to do this to get a man, and how we need to do this to keep a man. And it's like, number one, do you want a man? Because how do you know everything that a woman needs to do to get and keep a man? You've never been a woman. You don't know our experience. You've never lived our experience. But you know exactly what we need to do to get a man. Or maybe what we need to do to get a man like you. Maybe we don't want a man like you. You can't tell me that every woman out here is looking for a man that's just going to be tough and rough and strong and buff and every minute of the day. No, we want you to be able to be gentle with us. We want you to be able to listen to us, to understand us. I've never subscribed to any of these people up here talking about love and relationships and how to fix yourself and how to do this and how to, I'm sure they make great points somewhere along the lines, but overall, there's just been so much controversy with these people, right? With the Kevin Samuels and all the Joe Buddens and all the people with the podcast and all these platforms that they have and they create. So much controversy around them that I don't even want to listen. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And I'm sure somebody can come on here and say, well, he made good points here. And this was smart. This thing that he said here. I'm sure. I'm not saying that everything that they said was wrong and was a lie and they were completely just out of place with their thoughts and opinions. But for the vast majority of the things that they've been spreading, information that they've shared with people, it just seems like they need to work on themselves too before they can get out here and say these things. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is perfect. And so I definitely challenge you, if you are a fan of these podcasts and these, gurus on these social media platforms, to take what can really resonate for you and apply to your life and leave the rest. Just leave the rest. Because all it's going to have you doing is being confused about, who you are really and truly, your potential, who you're looking for in a mate and what you want in a mate. And you may miss out on somebody because you're following somebody else's guidance and advice for what you're supposed to be doing. And that's really not who you are. The rhetoric that Black women are strong and independent and don't need a man is BS. That's some doohickey. This is me trying not to curse. That rhetoric is not true. Black women want partnership. Black women want love. Black women want family. Black women want to be taken care of. I'm not really sure where that rhetoric came from. I'm not really sure where it started. I really want to say Independent Ladies by Destiny's Child and Beyonce. I really feel like maybe that was the start of that rhetoric that, Black women, I'm a strong Black woman. I don't need no man. I don't know where it came from. Because I've never sat in circles with Black women saying they don't need a man. I've never, mixed and mingled or conversed with Black women that are trying to tell Black men how to be Black men. I've never had that experience. And maybe that speaks to the type of individual that I am. Okay, sure. But I feel like for the vast majority of Black women, we're not out here trying to tell Black men how to be men. And we're not out here saying, I don't need a man. I just don't see that being the case. I feel like, yeah, we may say, okay, this is what I want in a man. And then it becomes an offense to Black men. It's like, she want me to have a job. I got to have a job and take care. But if you're saying that you're operating out of your divine masculine, right? Isn't that what you're saying? There are Black women that, yes, are just going to sit there and expect the man to do everything and take care of everything. But there are also some Black men that want to do that. And I think we have to respect that we are not a monolith, right? We have to understand Black people are not a monolith, right? It's been said many times in recent years. We're not a monolith. And so, yes, maybe there's a woman out there that expects a man to do everything for her. She's going to stay home with the kids if she wants to have kids. And if she wants to have kids, I have to repeat it because we're in a strange time. We have to respect that everybody's different. We have to respect that everybody's different and everybody wants different things. You don't know the inner workings or the dynamic of somebody's relationship unless they tell you. That notion of Black women wanting to be in charge all the time and wanting to be the lead all the time is false. I don't believe that. I know so many smart, beautiful Black women that are single, myself included, that are single. And it's not because we want to be single. It's because we're not finding somebody that wants to be our equal, that wants to grow with us, right? As opposed to somebody that just wants to lead us, that just wants to push us, that just wants to be in charge of us. I don't want anybody to be in charge of me. And vice versa. I don't want to be in charge of anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when we say we want somebody to be our match or our equal, the thought that goes through men's minds is like, well, if I can't be in charge of her, that means she want to be in charge of me. No, I don't. We're two individuals. We should be two whole people coming together and growing further. I want us to be able to function as individuals that love and care for each other and want to be together. That's what I'm looking for. I feel like there was a video a few years ago with Fantasia talking about, we have to let men lead or something like that. And it went viral and it caused all this commotion and controversy. But I watched the entire, I believe the video or the conversation that she might have been having. I can't remember how it went. But she was saying you have to be able to let him lead when it's time. And I'm okay with that. But he also has to be able to let me lead when it's time. And that's the problem. It's not always going to be you. You can't always be in the lead. Sometimes I have to step up and be in the lead. Sometimes I have to operate from my divine masculine. And you have to be receptive and operate from your divine feminine. And that's okay because we have both energies. There's so much, well, no, if he's a man, he got to be a man all the time. And what is being a man? Do we even know what that is? Black men, if you're out there, what is manhood? What does that look like to you? What does being a man mean to you? Right? Outside of providing, because I know that's always the number one answer, outside of providing. Black women, what does being a woman mean to you? Outside of nurturing, outside of cooking and cleaning, what does it mean to you to be a woman? That's what we have to discuss. That's what we have to get to the root of. I believe that Black men want so desperately to emulate the perceived status, power, and wealth of white men in America or globally for themselves, right? So desperately that they become that which is oppressing them. Does that make sense? What I'm saying is, Black men, I'm talking about America, right? Black men in America want so badly to have the status and the power and the wealth that they perceive all white men have, right? That they lose themselves doing so, that they become oppressive to their counterparts. And we, Black women, are your counterpart. I'm not saying you can't date another race or marry another race or love another race, but I'm telling you that as a Black man, the Black woman is your counterpart, period. There's no discussion about it. There's never any discussion in any other culture or race. But with us, it's always this there's always so much we have to talk about and unpack and just decolonize from our minds. And it's not all of our fault. You have to look at the history of this country. You have to look at the way that white plantation owners were raping their Black female slaves, and then the white plantation owner's wife was getting upset at the Black slave, beating the Black slave. Have y'all seen 12 Years a Slave? I love that movie. I don't love it because it's about slavery. I love it because it's raw. It felt raw to me. I'm reading this book called Killing the Black Body. I think everybody at this point has heard of it, especially if you've trained to become a doula or are training to become a doula. It's always going to be on that recommended list of books that you should read. But it goes into grave detail about just the inner workings of the plantations here in America. It talks about how they were breeding these women. They would have Black women pregnant in certain seasons because they knew that, it's bananas. You understand me? If you're fixated on having the status and the power and the wealth and the cars and the clothes and the physical, tangible things that you perceive that all white men have or white men have because they're white, you lose your spiritual self. You lose your connection to your counterpart. You treat your black counterpart like these white men was treating their white counterparts. That's the reality of it. Disrespectful, irregarded, just white women didn't even have rights. In our quest for freedom and equality and all this kind of stuff, I think black men specifically, not all of them, but a lot of them, we get caught up in, I want what the white man got. I just need a piece of what the white man got, and then I'm good. Yeah, but he also doesn't respect his women. He also doesn't respect his counterpart. Are you noticing that or no? You're not noticing how they want to control their bodies too? It's not just black women's bodies who are going to be controlled and manipulated and disrespected. White men don't care about white women either. Let's be real. Let's be real. They didn't care about them on the plantation. They didn't care about them before they came to the Americas. Like, let's be real, man. And I don't want that for y'all, black men. I don't want that for y'all. I don't. And I damn sure don't want it for black women, because it's not fair. It's not fair. I know you see him with the wealth and the status and the power and the ability to buy this up and buy that up and make this money and sit up on this throne that he has as this white man. But you're missing the fact that his counterpart has been completely disrespected from the beginning of time, basically. You know what I'm saying? You need us by your side. Don't neglect us. Don't forget us. That stuff that they doing, don't be like them. Respect us. Respect black women. Honor black women, and not just your mother, not just your sister, not just your daughter. Black women, period. That's it. It takes nothing to be kind. It takes nothing to be respectful. And let me just say this, black women, I'm not talking to all of y'all because I know the ones that I hang around and I move with don't move like this. But there are some of us, some of our women out here, right? We're going to be real about it, that are chasing the same thing the black man is chasing. They're chasing the same perceived wealth and status and power that white men have. You're forgetting your counterparts. We need each other. Yes, you have divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy within you, but you still need a partner. Underneath the video that I referenced about African spirituality and divine masculine, divine feminine, somebody commented saying, oh, well, then I guess that means you don't believe in homosexuality, because if we both have the energies within us, then that means we still need to find the opposite sex partner. No, because if I already said that there are some men out there operating more out of their feminine energy than their masculine energy, then you don't think the same would be for women? There are women out there actively operating more out of their masculine energy who, like women, who are going to attract a partner that's a woman that's operating out of her feminine energy predominantly. Does that make sense? So you can still have that partnership, but you're going to need a balance. So the whole, oh, you got to dress like this to be more feminine. You need to speak like this to be more feminine. Don't talk about your job. Don't talk about your accolades and your degrees, because that's not feminine energy. Maybe on the first date, you don't want to hear about that. Okay. But I think you should know I'm educated. I'm proud of what I've accomplished. What's wrong with knowing that? What's wrong with sharing that information with you? And you knowing that a woman is accomplished and educated and has degrees, that could be like, okay, I got a smart one. It's not like, oh, I have a degree, I'm educated, I'm smart, and I'm going to run you. That's not what she's telling you she got these degrees for. Baby worked hard to earn that degree. She wants you to know. That's it. It's not like I'm going to be the man in the relationship, or I'm going to exert all the masculine energy in the relationship, I should say. That's not what that's for. And if a man takes a woman expressing some of her accomplishments as, oh, that's a turn off for me, he's probably operating out of his feminine energy. That's because that doesn't make any sense to me, right? I don't understand how somebody's accomplishment could be a turnoff to you. Is it because you haven't accomplished that, or because you can't sit here and tell me you don't want somebody that's smart? Your masculinity is that fragile? Your ego? I think a lot of times we also confuse ego with being masculine. Those are two separate things, two separate entities. Having an ego is not being masculine. A woman can have an ego, right? And if she's presenting the information to you like, well, I have a degree and I'm this, that's ego. That's not pride in what you've accomplished. That's ego. And there it's like, okay, that's a turn off. Like, what are we talking about out here in these streets? It's discouraging. It's giving very much discouragement. Okay? I want us to do better, Black people. And I'm only talking to Black people because I'm Black. I have to say that because I feel like somebody's just waiting to come on here and say something about, but I'm not trying to hear all that. I don't care. I'm only going to be able to speak from my experiences and the experiences I've seen and heard from around me. And they are predominantly Black. So with all that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope that it was clear and coherent. I feel like I may have just been all over the place with my points, even though I wrote them down. I try to stay on course and try to link everything together. Don't know if I achieved that with this video. I hope this clears up some information for you guys. I hope it makes sense. I really hope it makes sense. I really feel like I've just been rambling for the last 40 minutes I've been talking. That's the longest video ever. Oh my goodness. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you again for watching. As always, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Because why wouldn't you want to subscribe? I'll catch you guys in the next video.